Indiana Behavior Association's podcast. We're here for the Serpico series, proudly named after the whistleblower Serpico from the New York Police Department about corruption in the New York Police Department. We named it that because of the corruption in the Indiana disability industry. And today we're bringing an update on the current litigation against the attack from Opportunities for Positive Growth and Gina Shank et al. We had a court hearing, right, Jennifer?
Yeah.
That we attended. So we'll start there. And then we have new updates as of this morning. So we'll start with the court date, folks. The court date was July 10th. Mm-hmm. And it was they call it a status hearing. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm learning a lot of this stuff. Jennifer, you were there. For me, it just kind of felt like the judge was like, you guys are all disorganized. This is what you need to do all this, and then we'll go forward.
Yeah, it was kind of like kind of correcting lawyers on paperwork. So it was very quick and short, and
that's what I felt like.
Not much for us anyway.
And for those of you 17 subscribers at home, that hearing was July 10th, and it was on Zoom, but I want the viewership to know that people attended. Whether the hearings are on Zoom or at the Hamilton County Courthouse, they're public. So I'm going to show my screen real quick where you can find it if it's a Zoom. And so, Jennifer, let me know when you can see my case.
I see it, yeah.
Okay, so folks, this is public record. So hearing set for July 10th, 2023 will be conducted via Zoom, blah, blah, blah. Here's the meeting ID and the passcode. This is on my case. Publicly accessible for everybody with an internet.
So I didn't even realize that myself because you had given me the link, but you can actually go on my case and just get it.
Yes.
Go and enjoy.
Yes, and you don't need you have to liken a Zoom court hearing like any other court hearing. They're open to the public. You don't have to have rationale to be present. You can simply be like, I was just in the neighborhood and curious. As long as you don't disrupt the court, you have every legal right to be present and listen, observe. Mm-hmm. And so whether they, nowadays we're obviously utilizing Zoom quite a bit. We're on Zoom right now. So if the court decides to utilize Zoom more, this is where you'll find meeting IDs and passcodes. Probably different every time, but it'll be right here on my case. If they're in person, it'll say that they're in person and at the time and what courtroom in Hamilton County in Noblesville's courthouse. So I wanted to make sure people knew that. We had the July 10th hearing, and basically, like I said, in my non-lawyer perspective, it was a lot of corrective, like you guys need to refile and do this right to OPG's lawyers. And then to my attorney, when they do that, then you guys respond to that. And so they refiled yesterday. And that's where we're at now. They refiled 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's dated July 27th, but I'm almost certain they filed it July 26th. And then, there's a lag between filing it to the clerk and the clerk, I don't know, reviewing, uploading kind of deal. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's, there's a day. That would be reasonable, right? You turn something in, it takes a day for them to get through it, upload it, blah, blah, blah. So They refiled. And that's what brings us to today's update. So a couple of things that you're going to love, Jennifer. They resubmitted a corrected motion to dismiss. So in my opinion, they filed a motion to dismiss originally, thrown out, filed another one. Judge was like, it's not right. Filed a third one. Like they're just throwing everything at the wall. Yeah. And it's not sticking because you can't just simply say, well, we don't think we did anything wrong. This should go away. No. Right. So they refiled, and now we have time. I think we have a month, 30 days or less to review and respond, which of course we're going to respond with, no, we have merit, we have evidence, we have testimony, we have emails, we have recordings, we're ready. We're ready to litigate.
Is there some kind of documentation that's been provided with these new filings that have been done? Like, do you have anything?
Several. And I have 2 queued up that I think are of importance.
Okay.
Great question. You know what I love, folks at home? I got these documents arrived this morning, and I haven't even told Jennifer anything about them. So This is great.
I'm learning with everyone else.
Yeah, I specifically, I was like, I'd rather just not tell you right now and then tell you 5 minutes later when we record. Let's just do it live. So
right,
as live recording gets, right? All right. So the first one they resubmitted. Okay, this is where it gets fun, in my opinion. right? Because we've been talking about this for a while. The behind the veil, the secrets, the shadow games, the lies, the corruption, the deceit, and
Right.
everything that they do is literal, tangible, measurable, demonstrable evidence of this. And here's another example. So let me pull up this PDF. So here is the original complaint, right? Because we looked at the complaint before, right? In the last episode, the last update episode. We looked at that. So we all know Amy Sears is the review manager for Liberty of Indiana, a subcontractor of Beats. She is not, from my understanding, she doesn't work for Beats. She worked for Liberty of Indiana Corporation, which subcontracts for Beats. Just like I don't work for Beats, I work for Supportive Behavior Services, who subcontracts as a behavior company for Beats, right? So she works for Liberty of Indiana. Here's Gina Shank. So Gina Shank emails Amy the complaint, is apparently how this went down. So we'll start there. And most of this is redundant. So I'll go through this a little quickly because this is an update. I don't want to bore the 17 subscribers with 2 hours. You'll be able to pause your screens and read it, but a lot of this was already in the last episode because it was provided then. So, hi Amy, thank you again for reaching out. I don't know why she means Amy reached out. Here's the complaint I'd like to file. This is from Gina Shank. The purpose of the complaint is an effort to advocate for the protection of people and the quality of services they receive from B-Man companies. Here we go on our high horse of trash, right? She does this giant paragraph about how they're so benevolent, and the fact that they lost 3 employees therefore indicates that everybody else is doing garbage and they're the benevolent ones. So therefore, like, how does that manifest for you? How do you lose 3 employees, 4 employees in a small amount of time and then think you're the righteous one? You failed.
Right.
Grow up. So she files this complaint. And it's what we read, right? The business practice of solicitation as a growth plan for the company, right? All of this, no evidence was submitted, just her conjecture submitted to a state contractor, Indiana Liberty Corporation or whatever the hell they are. And so the same thing that we read before, their referral system, blah, blah, blah. Here are all the HIPAA names that we saw before. Based on these unethical practices, it is questionable. I highlighted that SBS has a policy with outlined code of ethics. To me, if you have anything to say that's questionable, you don't have evidence, you don't have anything tangible, you're just bitching and moaning. It's conjecture, speculation, it's hearsay. The fact that Liberty of Indiana took this, we're going to address in a second. But folks, you can pause this. It's all the stuff from the last episode. It's Gina's complaint, right? Gina's complaint. These are not my highlights that came highlighted. And this is all on my case, folks. You can download this entire document on my case and read it for yourselves or pause your screen here. It is 101 pages. I went through it already this morning. At the tail end, Jennifer, remember those YouTube transcripts?
Oh, is that what's making it so long?
Oh my God, yes. And again, they're the YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, they're the YouTube transcripts that I think they just downloaded. So you don't even know who's saying what. There's no names. It's just 100 pages of words.
Just a wall of text. Okay.
Yes, for like 75 of the final pages. So we're not going to go through all that. Consultants, qualified behavior consultants is indicative of their unethical solicitation of BCs from companies with quality measures in place as their growth plan. Again, conjecture, not evidence. It's trash. Trash, which
This is just literally BCs that like were getting a raise and
wanted to be treated better.
I mean, yeah.
And this is indicative of why. If I had a boss who behaved like this, I'm out. Bye. You're a piece of trash.
Yeah.
So they file this whole thing, folks. You know, you've seen it. Signed Gina Shank, Executive Director of Behavior Supports for OPG. Okay. Files that complaint. And then after this, it's just our podcast. And like I said,
oh my gosh,
but look, from page 18 to 101, it's just, oh my God. So we're not doing that, folks.
No one's reading that.
Right. So Gina Shank sent this to Amy Sears at Liberty, right? Here it is. And here's Amy Sears on September 20th, 2022 at 6:19 p.m., right? Because that's when they filed it. Gina, thank you for speaking with me today. This is to confirm that we have opened complaint exploration, blah, blah, blah. The quality reviewer will reach out to you if she needs anything further, which was Robin Carruthers at the time. Amy Sears, Liberty of Indiana. I have come to the conclusion that if a subcontractor of the state takes something like this from one of my direct competitors again and attacks my company again, they will be sitting next to them as a co-defendant. This is not evidence. This is not this is not in perpetuity. This is just somebody was pissed off that they failed, and you don't get to cost us thousands upon thousands upon thousands of wasted waiver dollars and man hours because you're pissy.
Yeah.
You don't get to do it.
It
No,
seems like such a huge amount of effort to go through because a couple BCs left your company. It just,
because I think they thought like that would be it, right? They're going to punch me. He's going to get hit.
yeah,
We're going to hurt him, and that'll be it. I
right.
don't think that they thought that we were going to punch back,
Yeah.
and we punch back harder. And honestly, I don't feel bad for that. You don't get to punch us and then be pissed off that we punched back, and we punched back harder and smarter.
Mhm.
Now, we spent 5 months doing our due diligence to prepare to punch. We didn't just have an emotional response in September
Mhm.
and punch. We waited until the end of January after we had done our due diligence. We had done our research. We had spent thousands of dollars in legal consultations,
Mhm.
and then we fought back, prepared and
Well, and I
ready.
think the most frustrating thing to read through all of that is just how much false information is in there. False, false, false. I mean, we obviously have a code of ethics. You know, these people were not aggressively recruited. I mean, maybe just take a look at your own policies. Are you paying people enough? Because if they can go somewhere else and make more, they're going to do that.
They can go make a life-changing amount more. They can
Right?
put
It's it.
their kids into better schools, into better camps, and into better healthcare. If they
Yeah.
can improve their quality of life, it's their prerogative. And you don't
Mhm.
get to attack companies because of that. You don't. I don't
Yeah.
care. You don't. And I think my stance now is, yeah, if another competitor tries this, which hopefully they won't, but if they do, and a subcontractor of the state takes it without real evidence, without actual
Mhm.
tangible, they're going to be a co-defendant. We're not doing this
Yeah.
anymore. And I mean that
Yeah.
across the disabilities industry. We're not attacking companies. This is why we're losing practitioners across the board,
Mhm.
and why we don't have qualified people, because in other social work realms, this isn't happening.
Right.
So they go work where it's healthy and safe. I can't
Yeah.
believe I tell people who aren't in our industry how dangerous the industry is for people's careers. And they're like, what do you
Mhm.
mean? You're social workers, you're therapists. And I'm like, it's corrupt.
Yeah.
So this is what you're going to really love. I
There's just
received
no purpose for non-compete agreements in this industry.
and this kind of retaliatory, fictitious filing
Yeah.
to sabotage. You don't get to do that with impunity. You
And I don't
don't.
even think it's about the BCs. It is really about whether or not they lost clients and they lost revenue from those clients. And those clients, per waiver, have the choice to go wherever they wish to go. And you're trying to say that they weren't allowed to do that?
Well, and you remember Gina's email in the last one where she
Yeah.
said, "You take 6, I'll take 6,"
Right.
like they're tokens. Like these
Yeah.
human beings with disabilities are tokens.
Yeah.
You know. So this is where it gets really fun, because again, folks, I want to emphasize how much of the secrecy and the lies and the deceit. And this is another tangible example that you're going to love, Jennifer. I received this an hour ago.
But wait, there's more.
I just got this an hour ago. So
Okay.
one moment. So we're past that. No. Okay, here we go, folks. Let me zoom out a little. There we go. All right. We're going to share my screen again. I received this, like I said, Jennifer, about an hour ago. Read it like twice rapidly, whatever. So this is the attorney office, one of the attorneys representing OPG. And this is another, I'll throw this snippet in. This is just personal opinion. We have one attorney. They have 3. In my opinion, if you need 3 to 1, what is it that like you've done that you need an army? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they have 3 attorneys. They have 2 offices. One office has 1 attorney for them, and one office has 2 attorneys for them. We just have one
Yeah.
office, 1 attorney, because like we're right. We have the evidence. I'm just waiting for my day in court, and they are
Right.
throwing everything at the wall between 3 different attorneys, trying to do anything to derail this and create barriers.
Mhm.
And this is another tangible example. So do you remember in the last episode, the filing that they submitted, asking the judge, trying to manipulate the judge to make it confidential by submitting one of our work products, one of our
Right.
BESPs? It failed. The judge
Mhm.
said, I can't see why this would be confidential. If you want something to be confidential, you need a public version and a confidential version. And I
Mhm.
argued, and my attorney was preparing to file, that confidential piece was our property, our work product. They don't get to manipulate our work product. But
Right.
before we filed that, before we were able to do that, I got this. So it looks like they sent it yesterday, but I got it this morning. They
Okay.
sent it to my attorney, who presented it to me. They filed this letter. So folks at home, you'll be able to pause and read the whole thing. I'll zoom in so you can read the whole thing clearly. We'll highlight on it, but it was to the attorney. And they said, as you know, we filed our initial motions to dismiss on June 15th, and the judge told them to, they were wrong, redo them. We recently, this is from OPG's attorneys, we recently discovered that the attachment to Gina Shank's affidavit included documents that we inadvertently included in our filing. So that confidential submission with our BSP and all that was accidentally submitted. Okay, hold with me. The attachment contained attorney-client and/or work product materials that were created or produced in preparation for litigation were not originally attached to the materials filed. They were. That's why we have them, right? So they sent this letter to us. I'm sure the court's getting a copy. Per this Indiana trial rule, folks, read it at home. It's a big copy and paste. Inadvertent disclosure provides blah, blah, blah. Again, pause this and read this at home. It's a whole, this is just like legal jargon, copy and paste. So what they're saying from my non-legal understanding is we filed that, the judge didn't side with us. So now we are claiming we accidentally sent that and it needs to be returned and destroyed. Manipulation and gaming. They just keep throwing things at the wall to create barriers, to try to sabotage. Like that's what they do. They try to sabotage our company as a retaliation to us outperforming them. And now they're trying to sabotage the litigation by just saying, oh, well, we actually did that inadvertently. It was an accident. So we take it back. You need to destroy it and can't use it now. No, we will fight that. So again, folks, read all this. It's a lot of jargon. I highlighted what I thought was important. As we have noted, we are claiming that these materials are privileged and constitute a trial preparation of work product materials. So now they're claiming it was an accident. It's actually attorney-client privilege, not public. And you filed it and you're being manipulative, and we are going to counter this. To the extent of any of these subsequently produced in discovery, blah, blah, blah. Moreover, we also discovered that your client, Supportive Behavior Services, but I am here as a subcommittee chair for the Indiana Behavior Association. This podcast is of a separate company, a separate role, separate position. Anywho, moreover, we also discovered that your client has used the inadvertently disclosed materials on this podcast, and they are still available for review. Yes, they are. Specifically in episode Exhibit E from Indiana Behavior Association, June 23rd, 2023. As filed, those materials were designated as confidential and protected from public view while the court raised a question about the affidavit itself. It never withdrew the confidential designation. I thought they did. I've emailed the attorney waiting to hear back on clarity because we attended that court hearing. I thought he said, if you want confidential, you need to file two versions. Maybe I misunderstood, but nonetheless.
Well, and wasn't that available on my case?
I think so.
Yeah.
Give me one moment. Come here. Good boy. Here, actually.
Is it the puppy?
Yeah. And I've been keeping him busy with snacks, but he ate them because he's fat. Folks, meet Maximus.
Aww.
This is Supportive Behavior Services unofficial new mascot, Maximus the Rottweiler. He's 8 weeks old and he is eating everything that I own.
And probably chewing everything as well.
Listen, I haven't had a puppy in 10 years because my dog's, grown. And I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I forgot that like nothing is immune to the puppies. Like there's nothing, like this dude sees danger and he's like, I'm going to chew on that. Like that looks like, that looks chewable. And I'm like, that's barbed wire fencing. And he's like, nah, it's chew fencing. And I'm kidding. There's no barbed wire around here. I live in the neighborhood, but you get the point. He does not like, he doesn't care. Listen.
I like to have a good 10 to 15 years between puppies. I'll tell you like that. That's the job.
I had 10 and no power cords, sir. Thank you. I brought out like a pile of dentist sticks because they're hard for him to chew still with his baby teeth, and like they're gone already. And we've only been recording
good
for
luck with that.
Right. We've been recording for like 20 minutes and he's already devoured them. And I'm like, and he's got, I went to Tractor Supply and bought wheelbarrow tires because he's a Rottweiler. And even at 8 weeks, like none of the traditional toys that I'd originally bought were doing it. He was tearing them up in an hour. So I went and bought wheelbarrow tires, and those have lasted 3 days. So
has he gone through Kongs? Because those are supposed to be.
I have a
Reach out.
small one. I have big ones from the senior dogs that I haven't let them use yet. I have a small one that's coming from Amazon, and we're gonna find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah, laying down, good boy. Okay, back to where we were, folks. Sorry for that intermission. I needed to introduce you to our unofficial mascot, Mr. Maximus, and we went with a Rottweiler, because Rottweilers are great dogs, but they're protective breeds. They're guardian dogs, and that's where I feel like we're at in the Indiana's disability industry. Is we're out here trying to protect and be the guardians for all of this corruption and veils of horrible behavior. Horrible.
Mhm.
So back to where we were, they said, we talked about it on this exhibit. We respectfully request that you advise your client to take the podcast down or edit the podcast to remove the portions in which he discusses the ad issue and confidential attachments. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So got this letter, folks. You can pause your screens. You can read the whole thing word for word. To me, I read this letter, and this is my personal interpretation. Again, folks, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know crap about the law per se. I'm learning as I go. Is again, they filed and said, dismiss, nope, dismiss, nope, dismiss, nope, wrong, refile it. Okay, trying again. Oh, he's talking about his podcast. Well, that was actually an accident. He needs to stop. No. And this is to anybody who watches. The only way I will be censored from my First Amendment right to freedom of speech is by judicial order. If the Superior Court judge in Hamilton County issues a lawful order that I stop, I will, because the alternative is jail. And I don't know if you guys, right? And I don't know if most people who haven't met me, I know I might look like it, but I'm not built for jail. I'm not built for jail. Look, that bed is comfortable, and I have dog snuggles. I don't want to know what kind of snuggles I'll get in the Hamilton County Jail. So I'm making light of it, but I'm being honest. If I receive a judicial order, if a judge orders me legally, lawfully to take it down, to stop, whatever, I will comply with a lawful judicial order.
Not lawyer letters. We've seen too many of those, haven't we?
What I will not do is allow Gina Schenck and Opportunities for Positive Growth and Kelly Hartman and Amy Sears and all of these individuals to attack a sovereign Indiana business and then come back and say, oh, people are finding out that we're pieces of shit. Please stop talking about it. No, stop doing it, and we won't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
That's it. Outside of a lawful judicial order, I will not be censored. I will not be taken off broadcast. This is from Indiana Behavior Association. This is lawful. I have my First Amendment rights. But if a judge tells me that I have to, then yeah, I will, because I don't want to go to jail.
Well, he hasn't done it yet. I mean,
correct. I have not received any lawful order.
That information's been up for a month, right? About a month. Getting close.
Like 3 weeks, yeah. I'd say about 3 weeks.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, every time I feel like this doesn't get any worse, it gets worse. Like, they literally are just trying everything to derail this, but like nasty. Like, they sent that client's BSP, and we dogged them for it because you literally blasted somebody's personal behavior support plan that you nefariously took from the DDoS portal.
And your own emails.
And then they're like, oh shit, busted. We look like shit. Let's have our lawyer send a letter to try to get him to take it down. No. Get a judge to tell me that. If a judge tells me that, I will comply. But not from your lawyers. You can have 3 lawyers, you can have 13 lawyers. You don't censor me.
Yeah. So
that's the update, right? They refiled the motions that the judge was like, you did these wrong. And we have a month, I believe. So by the end of August, we will file our responses, which will be, no, you're full of shit. We have evidence. No, you can't censor us. We're ready for trial. We are ready for the trial room. We are ready for our time in court to show our evidence, to subpoena everybody's testimony, to do depositions and get everybody in there, to have Amy Sears deposed under oath to talk about those email exchanges, to have the picture messages of the books and everything out there in public. We're going to break down how the relationships led to the attack. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
I want my day in court because we were attacked and you won't silence us. No,
Right.
absolutely not. And on a personal note, Jennifer, I haven't talked about this publicly because, it pisses me off. I wouldn't say pisses me off. You'll understand. So the other day, as I was pondering, like I do a lot, I sit and think and drink, 8 gallons of coffee a day.
Right.
I was thinking, and this occurred to me because I know the man that I am, that I've always been. And 98% of the time, I'm a very mostly passive. I know a lot of people are like, no, you're not. I am, though. Again, if you don't punch me, I leave. I'm really good at minding my own business.
Right.
Really good at minding my own business unless you punch me. I'm one of those people that I don't want any problems. But the second you bring a problem to me, let's go. I got time, But if you leave
Well,
me
we
out of
knew
it,
about these company behaviors. We knew about these before SBS.
long before. Yeah.
Long before, because we've seen the legal ladders and the don't do this and don't do that and the
Should have framed
non-compete.
him.
We knew that those things were circulating, but usually some companies just kind of stop at that little scary letter and walk away. They don't have to go and start involving beads and filing all kinds of big complaints because they're so upset about
Their
losing a
failures,
few clients,
their
losing a few
shortcomings.
BCs. And it's already been said, I've been watching so much on what the FTC is doing about these non-competes. And just saying basically they allow a company to not give you a raise, to not improve, to not provide you as the behavior consultant things that you deserve. They can just continue to not give you raises, to not pay you well because, well, you've signed a non-compete, you're not going anywhere. If you do go somewhere,
You got to start
then
all
we're going to
over.
make your life really difficult. So that's really what that comes down to in using these non-competes, is trying to control the client. The BC is not so much the loss of the money, the client following the BC is the loss. And so these non-competes are purposefully doing that. And there's no reason for non-competes in behavior consulting, because if you kind of go and read broader, national reviews of these non-competes, there are these humongous corporations that do have data that are sensitive, that they're, these large corporations. And so they try to fall back on that because they have researched something and created something, and it may go to the competitor. You don't have that in behavior consulting. What do you have?
Exactly.
Some kind of angelic template?
Nope.
There's nothing that you can't see in Portal.
You're completely
We see
right.
all your templates because people do move around. We see your templates. We
You
see
see
what
ours.
you don't have anything that we're suddenly going to go, oh, wow, I
Magic.
need
Yeah.
a template. That's the best thing I've ever seen. So it is literally just to control the client, control the money.
I completely agree. That's why I always use that example of Lamborghini versus Ferrari, right? When you have those kinds of companies who have patented, proprietary, we made this special mechanic turbo, whatever, that would be millions of dollars worth of benefits to the competitor, but we made it, you didn't make it, we patented it, you didn't patent it. Okay. At that point, I agree with confidentiality clauses, making it illegal to disclose that secret information, but we're not that industry. We're disabilities.
Makes no sense.
I have nothing secret or proprietary in that regard. Stop confining disabled people for your profit. Stop. If at the end of the day, nobody wanted to shop at supportive behavior services for their services and supportive behavior services went under, it should, because we have done something to lose our customer base.
Right.
That's how it works. Grow up. Take your punches with your wins.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not going to stop. We're not going to be censored unless a judicial order. And even then, that will have a timeline on it, right? It will end, and then we'll come back to talking about it. It's not like this gets, it's not like this is like the revelation of the aliens do exist, right? We're not going to have 50 years of secrecy or 100 years of secrecy. We'll talk about this either now or later when I am re-allowed, if it ever came to that, which I don't see a judge ordering me to be censored, because we would fight that. We would petition that the judge needs to watch, listen, that we're just talking about factual information that is readily available to the world.
On my case.
Should be. It's on my case, and it should be public because this does concern the public. It concerns the disabled population of Indiana being manipulated by people like Gina Schenk for their ways. No.
Right. It's contrary to waiver and contrary to the whole point of the client having choice.
100%. And so we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep talking about it. More and more agencies. We just had another agency reach out last night. I got an email last night at 8:30 from another agency that I never even heard of.
Nice.
And I emailed her back at like 7 this morning. Basically, she said, hey, saw what you're doing at IBA, love it. Would like to partner up on some initiatives, blah, blah, blah. Can we talk? And I emailed her back this morning, like, hey, absolutely, would love to have more IBA members. Let me know how we can partner up. Yeah. Just last night. And it was like 8:30 when I got it, or 7:30 or 8:30, and I was like, I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you in the morning. Because I went to bed. Because somebody named Maximus has been keeping me up at night.
Surprise.
I know. I'm getting used to puppydom again. I love it though. He's such a sweet boy.
Sleepless nights, chewed up shoes.
All the shoes are in the garage now.
Little packages on the carpet.
Well, okay. So since I predominantly work from home, I've been lucky. We've had 0 accidents because like I'm here, right? So like every hour on the hour, I'm like throwing a puppy into the yard. Go, do your business, Right. No, I'm kidding. He's been great. I feel like 10 years ago when I had, that set of puppies, I worked in a facility, right? And so I had to be gone and like I'd come home on lunch and you do the best you can. But like nowadays I work predominantly from home. So like letting him out is easy. Going for a walk on lunch is easy. Potty training. And I have Penelope, the senior dog. So he's watching her and like he already learned how to use the dog door just by watching and following her.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, until he came in and chewed something while I was still outside and didn't realize he went through the door. But yes.
Yep. Turn your back for a minute.
I know, it's like even with him sleeping, I keep looking back like I'm waiting for him to on paper. But folks, that's the update. We had the hearing on July 10th. Again, all future hearings we will inform you about. If they're on Zoom or if they're in the courtroom, they are public. They are available for you to come and watch for yourselves. A few people attended the last one. I encourage you, if you're interested, come attend. You don't have to speak. Nobody, it's watch. As long as you don't disrupt it, you'll be fine. We'll keep you updated as more hearings come because we have more hearings coming, right? They keep motioning to dismiss. We keep fighting it. And somewhere around the 1-ish year mark, next January, we'll finally start having some court hearings where we get to the meat and potatoes. But we're not going to lighten up. They attacked our company maliciously in response to their failures. And then Liberty of Indiana was complicit. And if they do that again, I will have them as a co-defendant because this is not proper. If supportive behavior services receives a genuine complaint from a family or guardian, okay, let's sit down, let's fix it, let's apologize, let's make it right, let's repay some money, what do we need to do to make up for that? Agreed.
Right.
But outperforming you in a competitive market of capitalist America, no. I'm going to continue to outperform you. I'm going to continue to pay the best. I'm going to continue to treat these master's prepared clinicians with dignity and respect. And if you can't match that, you'll keep losing.
And their clients have choice. If you want to stay at SBS, that's great. If you feel like this is not for you, we support you in any of your decisions. If you want to go elsewhere, we're not going to tell you you can't go somewhere.
I'll never even attempt it. And Jennifer, on a little caveat, even if the waiver didn't have that like motto, I believe in it. So let's pretend just for a second it's not even like in there. I believe in it. I do not believe in forcing anybody to shop anywhere. Especially our disabled friends and family. Yeah. You've already had a hard enough time. Do whatever you want. Let me know how I can facilitate it. You want me to make an introduction to my least favorite competitor because that's where you want to go? I will swallow my pride and do it. Right. And it's about you. I don't care about a profit margin. I don't care about ego and vanity and any of that. I don't care. I'm sick of it. And we will continue to fight until somebody takes me out or a judge orders me to stop in fear of jail because I won't have dogs in jail and I'll cry. It'll be an ugly cry too. It'll be like a sob. Ah, where's my Penelope? And then some guy in the corner is like, I'll be Penelope. Oh no. Yeah, I'm not built for jail. I'm not going to front for this, for the 17 subscribers. I'm not going to front. I'm not built for jail. I'm built for pots of coffee and dog snugs.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer, that's the update. You got any final thoughts?
Oh no. I mean, I'm hoping at some point, the word keeps getting out, right? People are watching the podcast, they're learning about the podcast, and they're learning a lot about what we're doing to try to end some of these practices that are not person-centered, not client-centered at all.
Centered.
So, we'll continue to team up with those companies.
We'll keep growing in strength and numbers, and
Yep.
one day it will turn the tide.
Mhm.
My closing thought is a personal note. Because I was saying earlier, Jennifer, I was having this reflection, right? And I realized I've been a little crabby lately. I have, and across the board in my
Yeah,
life.
you've been so crabby lately.
I have. I know I have. I've been crabby across the board. And here's what I came to the conclusion. And I was talking with a friend as well. I was reflecting. I was talking to a friend, and she articulated a part of it. She's gonna watch this, and she's gonna text me and be like, "That was me," and I'm like, "I know. I just didn't name drop you."
Yeah.
But she mentioned it. She said, "You've been through a lot in the last 13 months," and so then I
Yeah.
thought about that. And in the last 13 months of my human existence, my father's died, my long-term
Yeah.
relationship ended, my
Mhm.
dog died. In that entire time of those 13 months, as I'm having those two deaths and that breakdown,
Mhm.
supported behavior services, my flagship company, has been under siege from
Right.
MDS, Embracing Abilities, Ferraro, Kelly Hartman, Beads, Liberty of Indiana, OPG, DDSI.
Mhm.
I've been crabby. I've
Right.
been disgruntled because it's been a long, hard 13 months. And I will
Mhm.
counter immediately anybody who immediately thought, well, those people didn't know what was going on. I don't care. I have
Right.
no idea what's going on in any of their lives. I've never
Mhm.
sent a cease and desist in my life. I've never filed a retaliatory fictitious complaint. I've never sabotaged somebody's company. I've never called and threatened anybody. I've never texted and bullied anybody, Kelly. I've never done any of that because I'm really good at minding my own business. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with them, so I leave them
Yeah.
alone. Oh, but they're BC's left. Yeah, I have every legal and moral and ethical right to outperform you. Work harder,
Mhm.
do better, innovate, grow,
Yeah. Pay more.
pay more, just make less money. They still make millions, just make less millions. But heaven
Yeah.
forbid that concept to these people.
Right.
So to those who have interacted with me and I was a little crass, I do apologize for that. It has been a trying 13 months, but I can
Yeah.
assure the industry that my resolve has not been shaken and we are
Mhm.
still ready for the good fight. And now we have Maximus, who is ready for the good fight too. And he's our unofficial
He is
mascot.
ready to chew your shoes.
Yeah, and
Right.
pee everywhere. Outside, thankfully. But he is. And I went with a Rottweiler because they are a great dog and I've wanted one, but also
Yeah.
they're a guardian and protector breed. He's going to protect my many other pets that I have and will have. And in
Mhm.
that symbolism to me was that's not what I opened or built SBS to be. That is something that I feel like we've evolved and grown into out of the necessity to be a
Mhm.
guardian and a protector, because there's a ton of little agencies getting picked on and bullied by these fear
Right.
mongering bullies. And now that we finally got big enough, grew enough to the stature
Mhm.
and position to be on the defense, we're going to defend and protect people so that 1
Right.
year from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, we finally have a wholesome and equitable disabilities industry free of corruption and fraud and fictition and sabotage. And
Mhm.
that's my final long thought.
Yeah.
Soon to come, another update. I don't know. I think another month probably before another update. We have another episode before. We have regular episodes in between the updates coming, but
Mm.
I think it'll be another month before another update, just because we have to file our, actually a couple weeks when we file our responses. We'll do an update to let everybody know what our responses were.
Right.
Which I don't know how the attorney will word them, but they're basically going to be like, no, they're full of shit. We disagree with everything.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure this will be kind of an ongoing podcast series for a while.
I mean, we filed in January, so we're at what? February, March, April, May, June.
Oh,
July.
yeah.
Like we're at 6 months into the lawsuit.
Yeah, going into August.
We're 10 months. We're 10 months into the complaint. We're 6 months into the lawsuit.
Mhm.
We set aside six figures to fight this because we knew that it was going to take a long time and a lot of money. You know, like I
Mhm.
said, they filed the complaint in September. We didn't sue until January. I don't think we filed until January 29th or 30th because we did our due diligence.
Mhm.
I can get emotional sometimes, but I don't allow that to drive decisions. It took
Right.
months in consultations with 3 different attorneys before settling on plan of action, legal precedent, and evidence. And then we said, okay, let's go forth. And then we did. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I'm tired, but
Yeah,
I got 35, 40 more years in this industry. So I got nothing but time.
right.
You know, while the rest of them need to retire. All right, folks. Thanks for coming. 17 subscribers. Appreciate it. Got any questions? Hit us up in the comments. If you have curiosities, go to my case. I'll link my case in the bio. Pause your screens if you want to read any of that. And we will update you next time. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Jennifer.